All righty, we are live. Amalia and Madeleine here to share with you the cosmic forecast. We're going live a little bit earlier than usual, so the recording will be up for everybody to check out closer to the full moon, but due to scheduling difficulties and some travel, we're recording it early for you. And we're going to be talking about the full moon in Capricorn, which is happening on July 13th at what did we even say? I don't even remember now. I'll have to go back and look. At roughly 2:30-ish Eastern, what would that be? 11:30 Pacific. Actually, I'm going to look really quickly. I want to give everyone the exact time because when it comes to astrology, the time matters. Okay, so 2:37 East Coast, which would be 11:37 a.m. your time, correct, Madeleine?
Yep, around 11:38, around, yep.
Yeah, it's 37, 38, something, along those lines. Capricorn. That Capricorn is I find it to be, it's awesome in so many ways, but it can also, it's very like hard work and get it done. And then it's also like keep going and taking those steps. It's very ambitious and status and career. So this, I would assume, is going to be potentially a really good time for people when they're looking to move their work forward or move something in their life forward. Something will be highlighted. Obviously, you'll be talking more about that. Also can be connected to legacy. So when you're looking at this full moon, Madeleine, what are you seeing as far as the Capricornian vibes? And there's a number of aspects that are happening at the same time, which will also flavor this full moon.
Yes. Well, the first thing that comes to mind to me is that we had a Capricorn new moon at around the same, well, actually, I think it was at around 10 or 11 or 12 degrees in January this year. We had that new moon. So we're really seeing the culmination, and that is a 6 months. So we're looking at a 6 month window, and we still have the sun in Cancer. So we're really looking at the summer solstice. So that new moon happened right at the winter solstice, a few days after the winter solstice. And then this full moon is coming at the summer solstice. So it's really a very significant, because these are cardinal full moons. So whenever you have cardinal shifts or changes, it theoretically is your cardinal points in your chart. Whenever you have a transit or something aspecting your own personal chart at a cardinal point, which is the MC, the IC, the AC, or the DC, you will see a very significant occurrence happen. My Mars is at 12 degrees Capricorn. So on that new moon, I met people and we started workshops, and now literally they are kind of opening up more and we're becoming much busier, and it's all sort of turning into a materialized career work situation. In fact, you could say it has shifted my direction personally completely. So we're looking at the culmination of efforts put in or initiated and instigated by that new moon in January around that solstice, and these are going to be pivotal, significant shifts. Am I cutting in and out?
Your video is, but your voice isn't. So I'm just like,
okay, fingers crossed. I'm going to take my Wi-Fi off. I'm going to come back.
I wonder, maybe Madeleine will be right back. We'll see. We were on a roll there for a little while with our internet connection, so hopefully she's still having some issues. Hopefully she can pop back in if she's popped out. All right, while we're waiting for her, let me go to my notes here and just share a little bit. What's interesting about this full moon as well is this moon is conjunct Pluto. So Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. And it often signifies some, when people think of Pluto, they think of sometimes of some sort of the level of discomfort. So there's something that may come up where they feel uncomfortable or they feel like a shift needs to take place. So if you think about, death and rebirth, there's this feeling that you need to reinvent yourself or come out in a different way. Some part of you has to die or to shift in order for you to change your way of being. So it can be very uncomfortable and awkward feeling for you, but it always leads to something that's really beautiful on the other side. The other aspect here, and here's Madelaine, is a trine to the North Node in Uranus in Taurus. So that's your purpose, surprises, and that's going to also show up during this full moon.
Sorry about that.
Okay, that's okay. So I was just sharing about, kind of to fill in the time while you were exiting and entering. We were talking about the conjunction with the moon and Pluto during this full moon. We're also talking about the trine with the North Node in Uranus and Taurus. So there's a lot of energy that's happening during this full moon. Yeah. And there's also, I believe, a water trine with the Sun in Cancer, the South Node in Scorpio, and Neptune in Pisces. So lots of energy.
Right.
Lots of emotion, lots of feminine.
Yes, you're vibes. Right. Yeah. And Mercury is going to be in Cancer too. You said Venus is going to be in Gemini, by the way, which is great. Venus in Gemini is a lot of fun. Mercury in Cancer can be kind of romantic, soft communication, nice empathic energies. The Sun and all of these energies being empathic is nice, which is going to sort of offset some of that Uranian energy that we have going on, which is building up for everybody. But we do have a Venus squaring Neptune, Mercury squaring Chiron. So, okay. So
are you on your laptop now?
Yes, I am. I'm trying my hotspot. I'm just going to see if it works. If it doesn't, then I have it runs out and then it goes slower and they won't let you pay for more. So if it starts slowing down too much, I'll jump back to my phone. So
okay. That's all good. I'm just going to make you host while you still have your Wi-Fi if you want, or sure. I can just share the screen and maybe that'll save on bandwidth. You tell me what you want to do.
You can make me host. It doesn't matter at this point because it's working. So let's go with it.
Okay. All right. So you're good to go. So you can share your screen.
Okay. I got a lot going on my screen here. Okay. So yes. So basically some things are going to come up. Some stuff. Full moons are really good at that. New moons and full moons, there's usually a culmination, an emotional climactic explosion or outburst, or because the moon sort of brings it has this magnetic power over our water, which is our emotions. So it'll sort of build up and pull our emotions up, and yeah. So there's going to be some sort of a outburst reveal because we've got that Mercury squaring Chiron, so truths. But you also want to watch out for, there is quite a bit of health issues going around. Apparently sort of people are getting that virus again a lot. So Mercury squaring Chiron could be a sore throat, but it also is around communicating truths, things that hurt, information comes in that triggers you. So all these moons, I find, always have these kinds of squares. We have Venus square Juno. This is kind of a romantic, I think if you were like on the twin flame journey or on some sort of divine partnership journey, this is a significant full moon because it really impacts Juno and Venus. So we're really looking, and we've got Venus squaring Neptune. That's almost like Venus squaring Venus. Neptune is a higher octane of Venus. Neptune is in Pisces, though it's a very good energy. Venus is in a good energy because it's in Gemini. But I think we're going to see some crosshairs, some cross stuff come up. And Capricorn is for sure control issues, karma. Where do we have fear? Where are we trying to control a situation and make something be a certain way because we think it's supposed to be? So in these, especially in divine partnership relationships, we're going to, both sides of the coin, the feminine and masculine, tend to have opposing opinions. And this is going to be a full moon where we wake up to the karmic journey of aligning our opinions so that we can materialize expansion.
And so what's going to come up? Well, with that, well, Pluto, it's a wide square, but you're right that Pluto is in the picture here in the sign of Capricorn in that same house. So, and because Pluto is in that house of Capricorn for everybody individually, there is a deep fear of lack of control around some issue. So you're going to lose control. You're going to lose that. Now, I don't mean like go nutty and go crazy and lose control of yourself. You're going to lose a grip of control on something, and you're going to let go, and you're going to let it knit Cancer, because we've got that polarity. We've got that Cancer polarity and the water polarity of flow, let it happen. And Cancer can be surprisingly controlling because they play out their polarity. But in the Capricorn polarity, with a full moon is going to come up where we have control issues that are preventing us from being fully in the flow and flow towards our destiny. We're going to let that go. We're going to release wherever we have control problems. And the reason we have those control problems will probably flare up, as a trigger point. And then you're going to have to let go. Eventually your issues of control always on this journey of life, we get pulled. Our divine is trying to get us to let go so that the universe can play its destiny out through you without you resisting it and holding it back.
Right.
So as I speak, I have right now currently in the sky, I have so many planets on my planets. It's crazy. I have Jupiter on my Jupiter. I have Saturn on my Saturn. I have the sun on my North Node. I have Mercury on my ascendant. It's crazy.
Wow. How does that feel? How does that feel for you when you have all of that plan? So people have a sense of what that might feel like for them.
Well, this astrology, by the way, and what I'm going through, we're looking at timeline shifting. We're shifting a whole timeline. We're coming down from so the seeds were planted in that new moon at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. And now we're grounding this whole new timeline. I mean, everything is starting fresh. Like we really are looking at, in a way, there was a sort of a silent period. People were kind of sick and in the last couple of weeks, and it was sort of an introspective period, especially for me. I had planets in my 12th house. Now they're all on my house. So I'm kind of like all confident and bold. Anyway, what was I lost my train of thought.
Just how is it feeling?
Yeah. So we were saying goodbye and grieving an old life and grieving an old, like the generations that are dying off. You, as your parents are aging, you start to know that era is going. It's a whole era. And so there's a grieving period. There's a sadness. It's that Ashwini. It's in Vedic astrology, that 12th house, where it's the end of a cycle. We're entering the new cycle. So that end of that cycle period, there's this coming to terms with who you were in that, and were you cool with those people, and can you regret how you spoke with them? So you're saying goodbye to a whole era and you're tuning into what you would have liked to have done different in that era, kind of an energy, so it's sort of a grieving anyway. So, and I've had all kinds of people texting me, and some of the other videos online right now, some of the readers are talking about how we're really in this foggy middle ground of like, we have had Mercury squaring Neptune too, by the way. That's happening now, last week, which is making people really foggy brained and but and then some people are saying they feel like the clocks, there was time literally missing on the clocks, like the clocks have been acting strange. I had several people texting me about this, like, what's going on? But in my opinion, we're grounding a new timeline. We're entering a whole new era, and we're saying bye-bye to relationships, family members that represented the old era. And now we're like stepping onto this, it's the dawn, the dawning of the age. And that's a beautiful thing, scary too, and sad, because you're saying goodbye to the old.
Yeah.
But as this full moon in Capricorn comes in, Mars is in Taurus at 555 degrees. We're going to be coming up to that huge conjunction of Mars North Node Taurus. I mean, the North Node
Uranus.
Thank you. So I mean, we don't know what's going to happen at that point because this is very powerful astrology. It's going to be impactful in everybody's lives, in the outside world and in our personal world.
Yeah.
So somehow these energies are preparing us. I think we're being called to actions. I think there's going to be a massive union of divine mates and twin flames. And I think that people are stepping up. And I think people like you, and like, as I looked at your chart and I saw a lot of activation during this period, my chart has a major activation during this period. I have this whole incredible North Node, Mars, and Uranus. It's all hitting at 18 degrees, which is kind of a challenging degree in astrology. It tends to be a do or die degree a little bit. It's actually the degree, in my opinion, that makes you believe in God. It's like a degree where a crisis can hit and you just really know God's there.
Wow. That's so interesting.
Yeah, because I have 18 degrees in my Mercury, which is that you can have a near-death experience with your child. And both my children nearly died. And the only reason I feel they survived is because I prayed like crazy. And it did wake me up to a presence of divine in my life. So there's some kind of a call to action, in my opinion, during that Aries energy hitting there. It's go. I mean, it's possible. I don't want to forget that we do have a Venus squaring Pluto right now as we speak, which is a pretty fiery energy that's going on right now, but that'll be cleared up by the time this full moon comes in. And it's trining Uranus. The full moon and the sun are trining Uranus at this point, which is very good news. So again, when you get these squares with Mercury squaring Chiron, you're breaking through emotional barriers. And then the moon trining Uranus, the sun and the moon are both trining Uranus. Well, yeah. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I think they both are. If they're opposing each other, well, maybe not. Maybe it's on the other side of the wheel. Okay, well, the moon for sure is trining Uranus. The sun is trining Juno. So that is good romantically. So somehow again, you get this challenging aspects and then these really cool ones. So you get this breakthrough. And it's through communication. So we're going to see arguments. We're going to see breakthroughs of opinions. People are going to speak up about what they really feel. They're going to say why they're mad at you about something. But then we get that breaks things through for the Capricornian energy, which is the mission, which is the work, which is why I think this is kind of a call to mission, because Capricorn represents our career. But when we had that Jupiter Saturn conjunction, most people that I know have shifted to self-employment, self-work, working for themselves at home, being consultants, being subcontractors, word of mouth kind of way of going. And with this Capricorn full moon, I think you're going to see a lot of auspicious, very good money opportunities opening up for people, because Jupiter the planets are really in good dignity, really, at this period, because we have Saturn in Uranus, Jupiter's happy in Aries. Mars is not great in Taurus, but can be a bit of a bully. And it is in the young degree. So bullying energy can kind of flare up. But let me just take another look at something. North Node, Cancer in the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Gemini. But I don't see it as being the dominating energy of the day, because all these other planets are in very strong dignity.
I think that's the beauty of astrology too, is it's not so black and white. There's all of these different variations and
yeah, it's all up for interpretation, It really is. And that's what's fun about it, is you can see the story that's playing out. And that's why I love doing it, because it's almost like putting a puzzle together and you can kind of see how the story is going to play out. So
in broad brush strokes, though, it's like you're not, for each individual person, it's going to show up in whatever flavor their life has going on.
Yeah, of course, these are general readings because we don't know your individual chart, because like you can have a challenging aspect going on. Like I have all of this squaring my Saturn in Aquarius, because there's Saturn in Aquarius. I'm on my Saturn return, second Saturn return. So Aquarius, My Saturn's at 19 degrees. So when it retrogrades, but there goes my brain again.
So basically all we're saying is that there's kind of an overarching theme and flavor, but depending on your chart and depending on your life experience, it could be like, oh, there's going to be conflict with, it might be a woman in your life.
Let's look at Cancer, Capricorn conflict. Cancer is mother, women, home, property, real estate, fourth house, the moon, emotion, water, tears. And then we go to Capricorn, which is rules, strict, discipline. This is the way it needs to be done. Bada, bada, bada. And there's this conflict between the two.
Yeah.
And who's going to win? Well, that's the thing. There's in the full moon, we have an opposition. So we're going to find an emotional reaction to a too rigid, strict situation. And then we find an imbalanced in between, which is the way it's going to work, because it doesn't work on the polarity. These energies don't, all in astrology, all the polarities are here to find their balance. So we're going to find a balance as a result of the communicational possible conflict coming out.
And and I think at least whenever I hear conflict, especially when it has to do with male female communication, anytime there's going to be this like that's a wound for me. So it feels really heavy, where some people, they're like, bring it, let's just get it done and have it out in the open. And so so it'll depend. That also is how it feels for you, how it's going to show up in your life and how you navigate it and how you handle that for you personally.
Well, yeah. And here's something you can't escape, is that it's going to be an issue that has an emotional charge. So if it has an emotional charge, it needs to be dealt with. And if it has an emotional charge, it's going to get charged. So we're here to sort of decharge these charge ups.
All right, so do you want to start with Aries and let's get,
let's do it.
And then if you want to stop sharing your screen, Madelaine.
Yeah, let's stop sharing the screen so you can just see our lovely faces. All right. So we're going to start with Aries. Capricorn for you guys is the fourth house. So
what you were just talking about. In
some
ways.
Yeah. So that's pretty easy to sort of explain in a way. It's just your family issues. So Aries are going to have some sort of a control. Wherever you have Capricorn, you've got issues of control. I've been doing reads for a lot of people in the last few years, and I've been really seeing that to be true. A lot of people's issues are in your Capricorn house. So Aries, that's over property, real estate, family, karma with family. It is a karmic thing because Capricorn is a control issue where you have fear, which has reduced you to karmic behaviors. So, so attachment issues to property, real estate, you're going to let go. You're going to have some sort of like a karmic release of control around the area, and you're going to let go, and you're going to let another thing, which is your true destiny. Because when you let go of control, trying to control something, what you're really doing is you're unblocking the flow of destiny through that window, that portal. So through the fourth house, you're going to get some kind of a opportunity or a window opening up around real estate property that then turns into a very structured, the proper thing, because that Capricorn is here to pull you, get you out of that control issue around that area so that you can step into a divine version of that, a more devoted version of that, the right thing. Like if I have Capricorn over my seventh house, I have control issues over relationships. Well, when I let go of control issues over relationships, the right relationship, the divine relationship comes through.
Yeah.
So, so we're going to let go of our control issue, which then opens up this fruition of something seated in January. Okay. So for Aries, that's your fourth house. So letting go of control around fourth house issues opens up an opportunity, like and also it's, I give up, I've lost energy. It's surrendered. It's fuck it, energy. A little bit. Yeah. In Nepal, they call it K Garne, what to do. I lived in Nepal, and it's very spiritual people up there, and they have this very spiritual sort of motto or thing they say on a daily basis about everything. And it's que garne, which means what to do. It's like,
Oh, I
that's
love that.
yeah, they
Que
just go,
garne.
yeah, what to do. What to do. The house roof fell in and all the plumbing backed up and flooded everything. They go outside and they went, que garne.
Similar to,
That's their philosophy.
it's similar to it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, what can I do about it? Yeah.
Nothing to do.
Yeah.
But sit there and let God deal with it, because that's his problem now. Handing this one over. All right. So for Aries, now Cancer is going to be the sun for you guys. I'm sorry, Aries. Oops. I'm sorry, guys. Guys, start over. Back it up. I flipped it.
Oh, so
Aries.
you were just talking just now about
Libra rising. I'm sorry, I flipped it. I'm dyslexic. Aries has Capricorn over their 10th house. This is a career opportunity. Shifting Capricorn. Libra have this problem over their 4th house. Aries have control issues over the career. Aries want to let go of control. They have ego issues about what people perceive of them, about what their work is and about what they're doing with their career, and is it status, and do they look right, and am I doing the right thing? They're going to let go of control around their career. Okay. Sorry,
Okay.
guys. Cancer is in your 4th house. So the sun is going to be in your 4th house. So you're going to be more connected to family, root issues. Again, you're going to merge these two worlds. You're going to find a balance between family and home and your career. So you're going to let go of a career control issue so that you can be more harmonic in family and flow, but also the right career is going to flow for you. That is right for you. That does create a harmony with your living situation. Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Dyslexic. There's that Mercury squaring. What the heck? Neptune squaring Mercury. And I have Mercury right on my ascendant. So it's like activating me in that weird way. All right. So for Taurus, Cancer is in your 3rd, Capricorn is in your 9th. So you guys, travel possibly. You might, a new idea comes for schooling, education, or you might start teaching a course. Full moon, Capricorn on your, in your 9th house is going to put you, so your issues of control will be around beliefs, around, it's 1221, around arguing, like rigid beliefs. Like Taurans can have that because they have Capricorn over their 9th house. So they're going to have rigid beliefs about spiritualism, religions. They're very, and Taurans can be quite stubborn. So They're stubborn about their belief system and their religions. Well, that might come crashing down to the ground. They're going to let go, and then they're going to open up to a new philosophy. They're going to open up the mind, and somehow that's going to impact their career. It's going to shift something big and create a new abundant opportunity around their career because they've opened up control issues around something, around a belief or around spiritualism. Like, let's say, for instance, you've never believed in, you only believe in pharmaceutical, you've never really believed in Western medicine, and you're a Tauran and you're in the health industry. A lot of Taurans are. You suddenly wake up to a homeopathic remedy that you think is just, you tried it and you're like, oh my gosh, I never believed in this, but wow, it worked. Whole belief system shifts. They now go into natural health. Let's just say that kind of a thing is going to happen for Taurans. And then it's going to impact your career because maybe you take both these applications together and you start incorporating it in your practice. So now you've stepped into a different evolution towards your work, and your belief system has opened up. And it's Cancer. Remember, we're polarizing with Cancer in your 3rd house of communication. So you've got the sun in communication. So you're probably going to sort of start to become more loving and caring about how you communicate in a loving way. And you're stepping into a more feminine way of dealing with this issue too, because we're finding a balance. So that is for Taurus. Gemini, woohoo, you've got Venus on you guys right now. Venus in your sign, so that's nice for Gemini. Summer is a good time. Cancer in your 2nd house of finances. So money, income. Capricorn in your 8th house, other people's resources. So you may become, if you're a woman and you're have Capricorn over your 8th house, it's possible you now become committed in a relationship and the person is financially able to sustain you. You have money from outside source, basically, because the 8th house is other people's money and the 2nd house is your own personal resources. So now an opportunity opens up around other people's incomes or finances, or for instance, like you refinance a property or something and now you have income, and now you can sort of pursue an alternative career, or because the 8th house is also other people's money, you suddenly become working, your career becomes invested. You shift into your career and become a stockbroker and you start managing other people's money.
I'm curious if this could
Or
also
somebody could pass away. That's another thing, just so you know. Somebody close to you, but you will already know that that's coming because it's the house of death and rebirth transformation. Or you could just go through a big total fear transformation. You could come up with a major fear. I've had full moons in my 8th house where financial fears come up and they just flare up, like scare the bejeebers out of you. And then you get over it. And then you've really let go of fear around finances. And now you have more trust and you just kind of have a more devotional to your process and trust. And then you maybe can get out of debt. The 8th house can be debt. So maybe something opens up and you can get out of debt. But basically you're going to break through a fear of financial independence and you may discover and nurture a more, because we're going to find a balance. So you're going to find another way of earning money that you have a resource around that is natural, that is really sustainable, that you can really depend on, turn it into a career. And maybe you start off by investing and getting money investment or something to help you along that career. But remember, we're balancing the Capricorn energy with the Cancer energy with the 2nd and the 8th. So it's like nurturing your own way of earning money and then bringing a balance potentially and gaining sustenance from either relationship or other people's money or financing, something like that.
Could this also come from the sale of a home, even though there's no 4th house involved in this?
Yes.
It's possible.
Could
Yeah.
be, yes. Yeah.
Because it's other people's money.
Yes. And also that could be money incoming that clears a debt for you. So if you have a debt, let's say you had a mortgage on that debt, it would clear that debt. So you could see that as something happening that clears financial restriction.
Right. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Liberating. Yeah. Liberating you financially. So but again, I don't love the full moon in my 8th house. I'm just going to be honest, but personal situation. I had a full moon in my 8th house and I was digging a well. And it was like, I didn't know how long when the water was going to hit, how much more money it was going to be. It was like, well, we didn't hit water yet. Do you want to put another $2,000 in, digging more? I'm like, okay, only 2 more. And I'm like, how much more money can I spend on this well? It was just like freaking me out. And I just said, okay, no more. We're just going to stop digging the well. The full moon hits my 8th house. I'm just like freaked out.
Wow. That's almost like gambling. Like,
yeah, I know.
I'll just put a little bit more in and then a little bit more in.
Yeah. And I threw a tarot card, like I was pulling tarot cards on it. It kept saying Ace of Cups, which means I know there's water down there. But I ran out of money to invest in the well at that point. But that was a full moon in my 8th house where I was just like rattled in fear about money and like how to spend it and what to do and how much to spend and not spend it. Can I afford it or not?
Yeah.
So the 8th house can shake you up about that.
Okay. So some money discomfort.
Yes.
Money discomfort.
Yes. Fears, deep fear issues around security come up when you have full moons in the 8th house. So, and then you become more devoted. You become more, after that, you find a devotional, because the 8th house is about devotional. It's about finding the divine through that fear. That's what we do. We live out the fear, and then you find out, oh, there was a net.
They didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see that net. It's invisible. It is invisible.
Okay, so Cancer.
Oh, me. Okay, Cancer rising. Oh, wow, you guys have this. So this is the sun in your house, and this is a full moon for you guys. It's going to hit your 7th house of relationships. Capricorn is on your descendant. It was on mine when this full moon started. I started a partnership, a business partnerships, romance, marriages. A lot of people probably stepping into mission with this full moon, with their divine mates. I started a relationship with someone on that new moon in January that is now, like I said, turned into bigger and more exciting things. So Cancer probably going to come into some kind of a partnership. Now, who exactly and what kind of partnership? It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but because of all that other astrology going on with that Juno trine and, you know, all that other romantic.
Feminine, and there's a lot of feminine.
Exactly.
Energy.
We've got Moon trining Uranus, Venus squaring Juno, which is going to trigger Mercury squaring Chiron, which is going to trigger Venus squaring Neptune. So we're talking about arguments with your divine mates, putting you guys into union. So sort of like relationships, you're going to, Cancer, your control issues are going to come up. All your issues of why you made these rules and regulations around relationships, very karmic, are going to kind of be like, you know what, tough, like get over it, step into a relationship and be fearless and be devoted to it and in the moment, and release. It's going to happen. Something's going to happen where you're going to get in an argument with someone, and then it's going to progress. Either that relationship completely terminates and it's no longer, or you then release that relationship and progress to the one that is. But this is going to be all around you and the other person. So there's definitely going to be clashes between imbalances between that Cancerian and that Capricorn polarity in your relationships, which is nurturing versus control issues. And we've got Pluto there in your 7th house of control. So this is the big, and also we have Pluto at the last degrees here, which is kind of like the resolve, like have you let go of your codependency issues? And I think all Cancers have. I think you've evolved at this point. You've got the sun on your ascendant right now, sun in your 12th, on your 1st house. So I'm going to say most Cancers are probably going to pass the divine relationship test. If you're in a relationship already, these issues are going to come up. You're going to be confident. You're going to know which boundaries are right and fair and which ones are not. You're going to be in the right place. I think this is good. Look, the argument card came up. Arguments with your true love. Isn't that great? But then look at the outcome, 10 of Cups.
Yeah, I was going to say, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, and boundaries were set that no longer need to be set. And there was negative thinking involved, but everything looks good. So karma is cleared. You know what? I think that this Capricorn full moon represents a lot of cleared karma. I think we just spent a lot of 6 months clearing karma, and now we're out of that karma and we're all sort of in that new timeline, that cleared karma. It's like that new beginning. And in Vedic, a lot of these planets are in Aries. You know, all these Taurus planets are in Aries, which is all about the new beginning. It's that coming out of that gate really strong and excited. So we're looking at brand new beginnings with a lot of inspiration and excitement coming in here. So after this karma resolve, it might be kind of rough, but we can do it. We've been through it all. We all have.
Well, and I think too, it's a good reminder of knowing that there's potential for conflict that's on the horizon. And when we begin to feel that bubbling up, to go, oh, wait a second, I know what this is, and not get too sucked into it and create a bigger drama than there needs to be. You know, recognize it for what it is.
Yes.
And
a lot of the problem is that the communication didn't occur, and so the separation then occurred. So because of issues or fears, codependency, so truths weren't spoken, and this can be in any area of our lives. And so once we then speak the truth, then the step can continue, as it were, the progress can continue. So yeah, interesting. Yes. So we've cleared that karma. That karma is where we're too afraid to act on our best behalf, we're to the best of all. It's fear-based. And now we're stepping out of that. We've cleared that karma that caused us to take fear-based actions.
All right. So what about those fiery Leos?
Where are Leo? Let me get my little thing here going. Okay, so Leo is Capricorn, covers your 6th house, so control around day-to-day, detailed, precise. So Leo must have sort of control issues around details and day-to-day frustrations, because the sixth house is the house of malcontent. It's like frustrated energies. And so when you have the full moon, so they're sort of controlling 1, 2, 3, 4, I see. So there's control issues around details, performances, day-to-day and work, job, la, la, la. It's a little bit like they can get a little bit too tied up, and they're not. So there's going to be some sort of a opportunity coming in, a full moon, again, seated January, that opens up, that's going to make you let go of some sort of control issues. Like, it's possible that you don't have time, because it's also the house of busy energy, that something opens up that makes you so busy that you can't be controlling over the same things. In other words, those details that you can't be controlling over don't matter anymore. So you're going to see they didn't matter. You're losing time with those things. You're wasting time on certain details that don't need to be spent time on.
Yeah.
Like, so it's going to be sort of like a mission or a work project going through, and you got to go through with it, ready or not. And you may not be as ready as you think you are, but you got to go through it, and you got to let go of some of these things. There might be frustrations.
How would this play out when it comes to sixth house health-wise?
Oh, health-wise, let's look at that too. So yeah, so let's say Capricorn, over your health, you will don't forget Capricorn is addictions too. I forget that. So there's addictions involved, to escape issues, to escape some of our internal emptiness that's caused by the inability to go forward to the things that fill us up. So there is possible addictions coming up, flaring up, showing up, and you may have to change your diet. You may discover a new diet, though, that really works for you, that makes you very healthy. You may go on a diet. You may feel emotionally strong enough to go on a diet. You may be able to face the emotional issues that are causing you to escape through addiction. You may start getting healing. You may, in a crisis, you may hit your bottom. Let's say you are an alcoholic, you may hit your bottom, and then you go to rehab. But that full moon will be when it happened, and it'll open it up. And then you are really healthy, and then your whole life opens up. But again, a new contract, Capricorn is contracts as well. So a new contracts could come in, new career, new work related ventures can come in for you guys.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So Virgo.
So Virgo, we have Capricorn in the 5th house. So Virgo have control issues around friendships and relationships. But also this can be creative projects or pregnancy. So Virgos, watch out if you don't want to get pregnant. You might discover that you're pregnant, but this full moon in your 5th house in the sign of Capricorn is very much, again, a creative project with your divine mate coming into materializing, and possibly relationships becoming committed and things going forward. But like we say, some kind of a flare up or issue flares up, which reveals your control issues around friendships, that challenges you, and you let it go. And you realize in order to continue to go forward, you're going to let it go. So that you can really have an adventurous, because it's a fire energy, it's the sun energy, so that you can go forward with an adventurous new thing. It's almost like it's almost like you have too much. With Venus in the sign of Gemini, it's so much fun that you just sort of drop all your baggage. It's almost like everybody just drops all their baggage. Like all of a sudden, oh, forget. That's almost like, I have this issue. It's like, oh, forget it. Not anymore. It's okay. I don't mind anymore. Let's go do this.
Right. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Same way.
Like I didn't, whatever my issue is, it's like your issues will really be gone. I think everyone's going to feel really great after this full moon. Once you get this, whatever it is that needs to come out around this relationship that caused separation or situation in that house that created a disagreement or separation or distance, breaks through so that it can happen. And then you see the thing that was in your head that was ego based, that was causing the blockage. And then you grow up past it, because Capricorn is about growing up. It's about maturing. We grow up. We get over ourselves. We're humble to the cause. We forget our ego, and we say, forget my little mental stories and rules. And we say, what's the big deal? What's the bigger, more important cause? And then you step into that, and you're liberated from it. And you forget your head. So
I
that's
find
one.
that, yeah, I find that interesting when it comes to Capricorn, people who have Capricorn in their chart somewhere, one of the sun, moon, or rising, where the people that I know that are Capricorns are so opposite that. They're so like structure and discipline, and the only way to get ahead is by hard work, and we have to do this. And it's interesting that really the higher vibration of Capricorn is the opposite of that, to let go of that.
The most balanced Capricorn is going to be more in their fire, is going to be really activating their fire energy, because they have fire. I forget why. I have to look at their chart. What did Capricorn, what do they have over their Capricorn have Taurus over their 5th house. And oftentimes wherever you have Taurus is a good indicator of the energy that you applied make you successful and help you make more money. So it's over your 5th house, which is creative, fiery passion. So it's almost like the Capricorn without that it's like all work and no play makes John a dull boy.
Yeah.
So when the Capricorn adds that fiery creative play to it, they do better, much better.
So they just have to, so it's also Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. So they have to loosen up a little.
Yeah.
They can't be so disciplined and structured. Yeah. Yeah. Which makes sense. I think anyone who has Capricorn in one of their major signs, or they know anyone, you'll see that.
Yeah. And when I work with Capricorns, I'm always helping them let go of their head idea of how it all's supposed to be. They're very, and it's like, once they let go of that, they really are more flow. And that's that balance between Capricorn and Cancer that they're here to find. So
speaking of balance, what about Libra?
Yeah, this is now at the beginning of the read. I said Libra has Capricorn over their 4th house.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah. So they're going to let go of some sort of control issue around property, family, ego, karmic baggage around trying to control what their family looks like, what kind of family they have, who they're with, or whether their family approves of their choice, like their family approves of their choice of a spouse, or it's sort of like generally overall trying to control the family picture, make it look a certain way, put pieces in this spot. And it's like, you're going to let go and let it flow, let go and let the real family, your true divine family. You have your MC in Cancer, which means you're really supposed to go more towards Cancer, which means allow the universe to sort of flow in your person, flow in your family, flow in, let go of that Capricorn, find that balance. Once you find the flow, divine, real family, your true divine, the structure the divine wants you to have in your family, you then add the structure of Capricorn in your 4th house, which is Capricorn energy is the structured energy that's supposed to structure what the divine brings. A lot of times people add that structure and there's the no presence of the divine. They just create this structure. So it's supposed to flip. So it's supposed to have the divine person come in and then you create structure that supports it. And so that's sort of flipping that's going to happen for Libra. They're going to create now a new structure around the Cancerian, the thing that's heart, the emotional based truth family, heart-based family rather than ego-based family. We're all doing that with Cancer, Capricorn polarity in this. We're going from heart-based, ego-based, finding the true balanced center marriage of the two. Because the Capricorn has to happen for the Cancer to be grounded. And the Capricorn without the Cancer is grounding just for no reason. It's just a dirt foundation or a rock foundation with nothing on it. It's just,
I love what you just said though, about the structure of Capricorn, of that sense of, because Capricorns do create the structure, which oftentimes blocks the divine because they feel like they have to do it the certain way.
Yeah.
And instead, it's allowing the divine in, Cancer, and then creating a structure to fortify that.
That's right.
So I'm going to be sharing this with the Capricorns in my life, because I think this is a complete game changer as far as their perception and perspective. And that's the way their minds work. You know,
Yeah.
they need to have that understanding, that structure, and just say, okay, you gotta like let go, let it come in, and then you can do your building, your creating, your hard work.
Yes. And remember, because Cancer is the heart, is the emotional, it's water. So you're going to feel it. Instead of creating a structure around a mentality idea, you're going to create a structure around an emotional truth, because the heart is actually the only long lasting truth. You can build a structure around a non-truth, it will fall down. If you're in the wrong relationship and you build a structure underneath it, the relationship, the structure will fall, because the relationship won't hold. So the emotional truth, the emotional glue, is what really holds that structure. And the emotion of Cancer has to be there for it to be long term, or it won't hold. So it's a non-love based relationship. That structure won't hold. Only thing that holds will be the love, the heart, because that is connected to the divine.
Right.
So when you allow the true divine relationship come in, that's the real one. Then we build that structure. Then we have that perfect marriage of the Capricorn Cancer.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's going to happen wherever, whatever in your chart. So heart-based career, 4th and 10th, or let's say, well, we're going to do another one right now. Let's do, where are we? We're on Scorpio. So you have Capricorn in your 3rd house. Scorpio have an issue of communicating in ways, because Scorpio are very complicated, deep, emotionally complex people. They tend to create karma through their communication. So they've come in their past life and they've come in this life without knowing how to communicate a truth, without upsetting the whole world, like upsetting the whole emotional balance. So they tend to try to control the situation by their methods of communication. So their karma is all around communicating. So what does a Scorpio need to do to clear that karma? Well, they have to speak a truth that in a way that is their truth, and not be afraid of the outcome. Allow the divine outcome. Speak a divine truth. They have to find how to do that, because that's going to calm their waters, because Scorpio are deep waters. They get very emotional. So the more they learn how to manage their emotional world through their communication, and then they become balanced and emotionally stable, they master. That's where they're here to master, because remember, wherever Capricorn is where you're here to do your most work, your soul work. So for Scorpio, they're here to like speak in a way that creates harmony, but that's also their truth. And they're not trying to create harmony. It's the truth will create harmony. So instead of trying to control the outcome by their communication, they will control the outcome by speaking a truth that creates the right outcome.
Yeah.
So Capricorn, for you guys, it will create, like, now the 3rd house is business, busyness, immaterial. So there's almost a breakthrough for Capricorn, because we're polarizing with that 3rd house and the 9th house with a belief system that was stopping them from communicating a truth or something, and opening up, because Cancer's in your, so Cancer's in your 9th house. So it's almost like a softening up. In other words, Capricorn, Scorpio are going to realize it's not such a big deal. Like, okay, so let's say you do communicate wrong and create, oh, everybody's upset at you. All right, let's try again. So you've got that Cancer element. So it's, in other words, you don't have to be you don't have to do it perfect. The world isn't all on you, whether you communicate right or not. You know what I'm saying? So you enter Cancer, and it's like, okay, well, let's have some compassion around me not communicating perfectly. Let's find that middle ground where I don't have to be perfect, but I can just sort of communicate my truth and allow things to be, and I can re-say it if I said it wrong. Do you know what I'm seeing? There's a relaxing of that fear energy around communication, and then that opens up work, because Capricorn, anywhere in your house, this is opening up a career thing. That's because Capricorn is in that house, which opens up your mission when you get over your karmic blockages, which is how you're trying to control and fear-based grippage that's causing a strain on the flow of the universe through you there. So your communication skills are going to open up, and somehow that's going to lead to more mission work or work or small business. You could start a small business, but you now have confidence. Shall we say you've overcome the karma that was stopping you from communicating your truth and being who you truly are through communication. Hope that makes sense.
I want to add one small piece to that, and that is when it comes to communication, and being a Scorpio ascendant myself, is sometimes it's hard to access whatever we're feeling. You know, it's there, but it's so deep. So it might be a situation of communicating, I'm feeling emotional, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. And so I just want to say, I'm feeling something right now. I'm not necessarily ready to talk because I'm not sure what it is, but I'd like to come back to this subject later.
Yes, you get to
Something-
take charge. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's the other
Yes.
thing about the Capricorn energy, like for instance, with Cancer over their 7th house, they get to set a boundary.
Mhm.
And you do get to say that. That's good karma. Excellent. You say what you need. You step up and you say, absolutely, that excellent. The other thing you want to think about is the 3rd house is also your thoughts. So Scorpio have karmically self-sabotaging thoughts. So remember, this is also the house of self-sabotation. When you have sabotaging, did I even say that word right?
Sabotaging.
Sabotaging.
Yeah.
Where you doubt yourself, you don't believe in yourself, you don't have confidence about yourself, all this stuff. So yes, excellent, excellent. That is karma clearing, where you don't throw yourself under the bus.
Right.
Karma's
Or
all-
drag somebody under that.
or push somebody else under
either. Yeah. Like, all right, here you go. I don't want to be under the bus. Here you go.
I'm going
Here
to
you
just
go.
push you under the bus. Get it. I suppose that could, yes, that is part of it. Yes.
All right. So Saggies.
Oh yeah, Sagittarius. Okay, let's find you guys. I am Saggy Sun, so I always like to know what I'm going to say about this. Okay, so Sagittarius, Capricorn over your 2nd house of finances. Woohoo! Yay! Yeah, Sagittarius. I'm not as bad because I'm Capricorn. I'm Cancer rising, and I have my Venus in Capricorn, so I tend to be pretty controlling with finances. But Sagittarius in general have karma around finances because it's their 2nd house, money, property, real estate, possessions. The wonderful thing about Sagittarians is they're let go of money, they spend, they're generous, they like woohoo when they have it, but then they don't have any for a long time and they're screwed. And that happens a lot. I know a lot of Sagittarians like that. Anyway, so they're clearing that karma. They're clearing that karma because what is their motivation really for doing that, for splurging and spending and being generous? Yes, it's a nice motivation, but also it's, I want to say, lack of control as a response. And that isn't necessarily balanced. So it's like without structure. So they need to find a proper structure. Sagittarians need to grow up. Also, don't forget, Capricorn is where you're going to grow up. So Sagittarians are now really much more mature because we're talking about the end degrees here with Pluto at 27 degrees. We've gotten over major fears. Wherever Capricorn is in your chart is where your deepest issues are that you're here to deal with. And especially with Pluto there, we're digging down, getting that karmic junk out that occurred in our psyche over the last 2,000 years when we were in Aries. Prior to the Piscean age, we built a lot of karma up. So we're really clearing that karma now around finances for Sagittarians, which is control issues around finances, being victims. Also, the Capricorn house is where you're a victim. So like, for instance, a lot of Cancers are victim to their spouses because they don't have any power. You don't have any power. Sagittarians don't have any power over their finances. It's like they have money and then it's all gone. They're like, oh, we don't know. The person did. They didn't show the paycheck. They didn't pay me. That there's all this
Stuff.
problem. Yeah. And it's like, you got to take responsibility. You got to grow up. You got to take a certain amount of control. But again, there's that balance where you can be generous, you can be giving and maintain a certain amount of structure and control and grow up around your finances, be giving and generous when it's okay and you can be, not when you can't be. Create a structure around your finances and not be rigid around your money, because that's the polarity that they go really generous and then they're rigid as all heck. So there's that polarity, and it's like you want to find that balance where you create a structure that is strong enough that enables you to create flow and be able to be generous with your money. So that's Sagittarius. And also a new career opportunity might show up for you in the workforce that enables you to earn more money. So you've cleared that karma. You've grown up. And now you're going to see a sort of a materialization for you in that 2nd house for Capricorn. Wait,
Sagittarius. I was rubbing off on me now, Madelaine. I'm doing the same thing.
My brain, I've been like this all week. I was hanging out with some friends and they all went, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I have no idea. I had to pull my I mean, I think it's because Neptune is squaring Mercury and Mercury's on my ascendant.
Yeah, you're just a little, I'm
foggy.
jumbled. Yeah.
I'm very like out in the other hemisphere.
Well, you're doing a great job still here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Where are we?
Capricorn.
Capricorn. Okay, well, you guys, this is in your first house. You're having a wonderful breakthrough, Capricorn. You've had Pluto, you've had a tough time. Capricorns have all had it really, really rough. Unless you're a high degree Capricorn, you only now are starting to have Pluto on your ascendant. But most Capricorns are lower than that and have already gone through it, and it has not been easy. So I would say I've actually have my Venus at 27 degrees Capricorn. So I've got Venus squaring Pluto right on my Venus. And this has been happening for me all year. It's been crazy. So I've got crazy stuff going on with that. So, and it has just been basically dealing with deep fears around finances. I have fears, obviously, around control with finances. So I'm like, around money, I'm learning there's a balance. I got to find a Capricorn balance. So for Capricorn, you really are letting go a whole layer of karma. Now you came in with a lot of, if you chose to be Capricorn in this life, you said, okay, in this life, I'm going to bring a bunch of karma, and I'm not going to draw it out over 3 lives. I'm going to do it all in 1 life. And I'm going to just do a big old toss it off me for this whole chunk of karma this life, and have a rough time, but it's over fast, and I'm ascended afterwards. Because after you get over, by the way, when you clear karma, you experience ascension. So this whole full moon is going to be a layer of ascension we get to experience. We're ascending above something. And so for Capricorns, this mega ascension, it's like ascending their whole karmic and just really coming out fresh and clean after this, and a brand new beginning, some kind of a fruition of something, a materialization of a seed planted 6 months ago really looks really good now, looks great. And you're Capricornian, you've let go of trying to control what it's all supposed to be like, look like. It's not going to be that. It's going to be divinely intended concept. Bigger, the divine. Here's the other thing about the Capricorn energy is we have a limited perception in that Capricorn house. The divine has a much bigger picture for you. And that picture is so much better, so much greater than you could have ever imagined. And if you could have controlled that, that would have been more of what you would have controlled to try to make happen, but you didn't have that perception. You can't see. So the divine has something really great in mind over our Capricorn house. So it's exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah. So and again, you're going to Capricorn are here to evolve more into water flow, more into a Cancer, letting go of the karmic fear issues that are causing them to have control ideas of how everything's supposed to work out, to work more with the flow of the universe and the divine and the heart and the intuitive center. See, Capricorn is not intuitive. Cancer's intuitive, although Capricorn's Earth. Cancer's intuitive. Capricorn is supposed to support the intuitive knowledge. So now you're stepping into a more intuitive confidence of the flow. You're stepping out of the Capricorn more into the Cancer.
And then you can build your structure.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is most likely based in a creative passion. And then now we're going to move to Aquarius, which has Capricorn over your 12th house. So all over Aquarians here, you guys are here to lead us into the new earth, the age of Aquarius. You're all a bunch of light workers. You're star seeds. You are all aliens, I think.
And we just lost half of our audience.
Yeah, I don't say that. I am told that by many people that Aquarians are not of human descent. They're rare. They're the rarest of the astrological signs.
I'm learning a little bit about galactic astrology right now, and having a deeper understanding about star seeds and the different galaxies that are out there, and how we've evolved isn't the right word. How we've been somewhat transplanted here.
Keep talking, getting water. I'm listening.
Yeah. And it's really fascinating to see how we're many of us are connected to these other galaxies, and how we bring knowledge and wisdom and the gifts of these different places to Earth. That's why it's like I think of Earth kind of like the New York City of the galaxy. It's like the melting pot of all these other places.
I like that.
So,
well, you want to know something else? Everybody who knows about aliens, I don't know much about them, but they say I'm Arcturian, because Arcturians are the astrologers. apparently. And they have really small heads, and they're really tall and skinny. And I have a really small head, and I'm kind of like a beanpole. So I think
Well,
I'm.
you know what? As I'm learning, I'll pull your chart and we can take a look at it. Yeah, and see
if
what's.
I'm Arcturian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Anyway.
if people said that to you and you felt a resonance with it, then there probably is some truth to it.
I did, because I looked at the pictures of what they look like, and I can see why I look like an Arcturian, because I have a small head. Aliens have really big heads.
That's pretty funny. Well, I don't know then. I mean, maybe if that was the only pull
and they're really scientific, and I'm actually really good at science and like mechanic stuff and astrology. So it's like, it's kind of like that. Those were the two things that made me think maybe.
Yeah, it made some sense. Okay, so let's continue talking about Aquarius and, you know,
the aliens.
Yes, their function here on
Earth. Okay, so Aquarians, you guys, well, you see, that's the interesting thing, because you have Capricorn over your 12th house. So talk about some seriously deep karma, deep. That's another even reason to think that they're aliens. Because they have this deep karma. They're not clearing just superficial kind of karmic relationship codependency. They're clearing some deep, soulful, deep stuff that they came to this planet. Like, they're already really highly evolved, and they just have some deep knots that are in their soul. That and within the 12th house, they're really investigating a deep soul control issue that they have within their soul about probably generally all around life, because I mean, they are ruled by Saturn, and Saturn currently is in their sign. So they are really going into some deep purging of deep soul karma, which is almost too hard to almost say exactly how the story of it is, but it could just be past life trauma of a nature that they're just here to sort of heal through. And not necessarily play out, because the 12th house is not really stuff that plays out in the 3D. It's stuff that's more soul and higher dimensional. So it's almost like they're clearing a higher dimensional soul collective karma. They're almost playing out they're clearing a collective karma in that Pluto in their 12th.
And that's an interesting way to think about it, and to consider that. Oh, we lost Madelaine. The karma clearing of Aquarians is so deep, and it may be something that they feel so internally. 12th house is also that deep soul discovery within you as the individual. It's very, and it's also it's like the completion. Are you with us, Madelaine?
I am, but I can't see you, but I can hear you. Okay, there you are.
Yeah, your screen is dark, but
what?
Oh, there you go. Okay, now you're back.
I've lost nothing I can do about it. I got to figure something out. But yes, I like what you're saying. It's the completion. Very good.
Yeah. So, all right. So I don't know, since your signal's a little wonky, do we want to just knock out Pisces? So at least the Pisceans are.
Out.
Yeah. Are you with me? I believe Pisces, we lost her again, but I believe, let me look back at my notes. Pisces is 11th. Capricorn's in the 11th house, because I think from what we were talking about earlier, Aries was the 10th. So Pisces would be 11th.
All right. So Pisces, you guys are going to have Capricorn over your 11th house. I have a Pisces sun. I know exactly how they're playing out this karma. Trying to control what people think of them in the mainstream or out in the collective. It's the 11th house, controlling a friends group. They've been clearing a lot of karma around friends or social media or what people think of them. They've lost friends group. They had a lot of drama playing.
Are you with us? So there's two of you.
Okay, I'm going to do it on my phone now. So this
Okay.
hopefully works. So yeah, so you guys are doing it over your 11th house. So you have issues controlling what people think of you. That's very connected to your career. So in other words, Pisces are really playing out their career through their 11th house, through word of mouth, through audiences. A lot of Pisces are creative anyway, are performers and stuff. So they're really playing out, trying to control what people think of them and who they know that can get them ahead. They don't know that they're being like that, but they kind of are. They kind of make a lot of friends. They think, oh, I make friends with this group, we'll get more exposure on our social media. Yeah, then I'm friends with them. Then they think they're being friendly and fun, but really what they're doing is they're trying to sort of network to control and create security. So it can be fear-based. So they're kind of holding on to friendships and that aren't really divinely sent to them. They're just trying to sort of manipulate the situation. So it looks like they got a lot of friends so they can be successful. Let's say like that.
Yeah.
And so what they're really going to break through is truly, genuinely being successful with the right friends, with the right group, with the right tribe that is divinely sent to them. Because intuitively, wherever you have Capricorn, you do know your salvation is through that house. So they do intuitively know that their future is dependent on a friends group. They just didn't wait for the divine friends group. They started trying to control and manipulate the situation so it felt secure. Now you're going to get the real friends group that does feel secure, that is your right, and it will all of this through all of the houses. Your career is opened up through this. So for a Capricorn, you're going to have a liberating breakthrough in a friends group where it does really work. This is the right friends group. You're going to let go of your control issues. You're going to forget what things are going to happen to the point you're going to get over yourself. This is where your success lies for Pisces, is to get over themselves and what people think of them and their friendship, and stop trying to control and hold on to the wrong friends. Let the divine friendship group come in, or the peers, or the tribe, and watch the right tribe flare open for you and open your career, because that is the portal through, and the Capricorn house is the portal through for everybody through their success. And so this is like the full moon that opens that up, and that gets, and it's in the higher degrees of Capricorn, which is like we've all learned a lot of these karmic lessons, and we're entering into the age of Aquarius, which is so high frequency. We really have to dump our karma. We really have to clear our karma to enter into this new higher frequency light. Actual existence, where we're really grounding a higher frequency reality. So we all have to sort of step up. And in order to do that, we have to shed the karma, which is fear-based, lower-based attachment, fear. And so we're releasing that on all the 12 houses, wherever Capricorn is. And then through that portal is our opening, because the divine sent us here with karma issues over that house. So we would be motivated to get over them. So then we cleared that. Then we're on the other side and we experience ascension, which is and that's where our success will be achieved. So hopefully that is clear. And Cancer for you guys is the 5th house. So watch out for pregnancies, and you need, again, with Capricorn over your 11th house and Cancer over your 5th, you're going to find a polarity balance, that polarity, which is to be more creative and more relaxed and more loose and more fun and flow with the friendship group that is trustworthy, which is the divine. You don't have to control that. And with all Capricorn houses in that polarity, you don't have to control so much over the Capricorn house. When you allow the flow and you trust that flow of the Cancer, watch the two worlds work together really well, and you don't have to control it. You can just let that structure support it rather than control it.
Another aspect to that is also around, it feels like to me, around being open for people that might be unexpected. It might not be the friends group that you're used to or that you normally are drawn to, because now you're allowing the divine to come in and open you up to a whole new group. So it may not look the same. It may not, and it's definitely not going to feel the same.
Right. Like, let's say it's a friendship group that they don't have, much following on social media. And you're like, well, that's not really going to do much for me. And then because you guys are the right friendship groups together, you blow up on social media.
Right.
And you realize you were trying to control that issue, but it was there for you when you stopped trying to make that happen, when you stopped trying to make that the outcome, and you just got into the flow of the magic of the experience and the connection. And then you're going to see that outcome you were hoping to experience. Let's say you're in a karmic relationship and you like this relationship because it looks good. It makes you look good. You look wealthy or you look successful. That relationship breaks apart. And then you end up in the relationship with a person you're in love with, but they're not so high profile. And then you get together and then together you do something and you become very high profile. And that person suddenly high profile. And it's like, you're like, whoa, I had no idea. You know what I mean? It's like this backward way of getting, you know what you're going to get, but you're getting it the wrong way. And if you trust the divine in what you want, then you get it the right way with the divine. And that's what's going to happen here. With this full moon, we're going to see that we're going to break through, because these higher degree lessons, we really are overcoming them. But do prepare ye for some conflict.
I think that's the name of the game for this full moon, is that there's going to be some conflict, but you know it's coming. You have you have a warning about it, or not a warning, a heads up. That sounds better. Yeah. That feels better. A heads up. And for each one of the signs, I think there's a good plan, there's a good path forward. And always with any of these moon cycles, it's opening up all of us up to our more aligned destiny.
And sorry, I interrupted you. What did you say?
Yeah, it's all of these moons are just lining us up with our more aligned destiny.
Yes.
Clearing the way.
Yeah. And the less resistance, the better. And I was listening to one astrology podcast and it was like, no, we really do not have free will. It's up for debate, but this is a full moon that will definitely tilt you to your mission, put you on project, on task, breaking through limitations, becoming aware of what they are, your mental limitations, and breaking through them.
All right. Well, there you have it.
Yeah. A good
All
one.
Right. So this is great. So now everyone has this a little bit earlier, so they have time to wrap their head around it all and get their foundations shored up and ready for potential conflict that is leading them into greener pastures.
Yes. And it doesn't have to be bad conflict. I mean, it depends on you and your own soul's evolution, where you are and how you handle conflict. So can you, and remember, it's a Cancer 111, 111 right now. It's a Cancer full moon. So it's going to be emotional. So that doesn't mean aggressive.
Right. Just some stuff might come up for you.
Emotional stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, Madelaine, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.